Technophiles, a person who is enthusiastic about new technology, and that is us.
So, let us first define and understand what bucket sort is. So, bucket sort is a sorting method where you divide items into buckets based on their values, then sort each bucket individually, combining them to get a sorted list. And it is efficient for data with a uniform distribution, but it would be less effective for skewed data. So a bucket sort can be used in different perspectives. The bucket sort algorithm is not really a widely recognized term in computer science or algorithms. It's possible that this term is being used in a specific context or industry with a specialized meaning, but it doesn't correspond to any standard algorithm or concept in the field of computer science or mathematics. To sum up, a bucket list typically refers to a list of things or experiences that someone wants to do or achieve in their lifetime, often used as a source of inspiration and motivation. In terms of programming, bucket sort is a sorting algorithm where you divide a list of items into separate buckets, as I said earlier, or the or containers based on their values, then sort the items within each bucket and finally combine the sorted buckets to obtain the overall sorted list. So it's a way to efficiently sort data when you have some knowledge about the distribution of values in the input, but it may not be the best choice for all types of data. So here is the example of a code we did and a help from the internet.
What we did here is number 1, we import the necessary Java classes like array list and scanner for working with list and user input. Number 2, we define a class called bucket list app that contains the main logic of our program. Number 3, inside the main method, we create a scanner object to read user input. We display a menu with options to add items, mark items as completed, display the bucket list, and exit the program. We use a do while loop to repeatedly display the menu and process user input until the user chooses to exit option 4. Number 1. The add item method allows the user to add an item to the bucket list. It reads the item from the user and adds it to the bucket list array list. Number 2. The mark item as completed method allows the user to mark an item as completed. It displays the current list of items, asks the user for the index of the item to mark as completed, and remove the item from the list. Number 3. The display bucket list method displays the current contents of the bucket list along with their entry. The display bucket list is method displays that current contents of the bucket list along with their indices. Number 4. The program runs until the user chooses to exit by selecting option 4. This program provides a basic example of how you can create a bucket list management system in Java. Users can add items, mark items as completed, and view their bucket list.
In relation to our sample code, we have the iterations, and the main loop in the program is the do while loop that continues until the user selects the exit option, which is the option 4. Inside the loop, the user can choose to add an item, mark an item as completed, or display the bucket list. The loop iterates as long as the user does not select the exit option, so the number of iterations depends on how many actions the user takes before exiting. So we also have the lines of code. The Java code provided contains approximately 69 lines of code, including the comments and white spaces. The execution steps. The program starts by displaying a menu, and the user chooses an option between 1, 2, or 3 from the menu. Depending on the option chosen, the program executes one of the following functions: add item, mark item as completed, or display bucket list. The program also then repeats the menu and waits for the user's next choice. Lastly, this continues until the user selects option 4 to exit as mentioned earlier.
1. Time complexity. The time complexity of this program is primarily determined by the user's actions. The operations inside each menu option: add item, mark item as completed, display bucket list, have time complexities that depend on the size of the bucket list. For example, adding an item. In the add item method, it's generally an O of 1 operation because it involves appending an item to the end of the list. Marking an item as completed. In the mark item as completed method, requires finding and removing an item from the list, which may take O of n time in the worst case, where n is the number of the item in the list. Displaying the bucket list. In the display bucket list method has a time complexity of O of n because it iterates over all items in the list.